took it. That's good. I don't think he spit it out, did he? No, he took it. Looks like he was hungry. I was asked to give a Wels update. Mr. Wels has been doing well. I don't know if he broke 5 feet or not, it's hard to gauge. When he is by the window, I need to get my ruler next to him, but he doesn't like to be next to me. So, for this intent and purpose, we're gonna call him 5 foot, 7 years old, probably almost 8. The bottom at 5 inches in 2016. In the summer of 2016, today is the end of November 2023. That's 7 years ago. He's a moody fish with unpredictable appetite. Sometimes he gorges himself for a few weeks or for a month or two, and then out of the blue he can start fasting and abstaining from food. Usually for the reasons I don't understand. I don't know why he would do that. Again, I say he, but I'm not sure if it's a he. I have to feel his, I think, his pectoral fin spines should be able to tell me if it's a he or she. I forgot, if somebody told me to do that and I forgot whether I did it or whether I completely forgot about it. I haven't even done it. If I did it, it'd be in my thread on Monster Fish Keepers. I have to check it. But for now, I'm just calling him Mr. Wels. He doesn't like very large meals, I've noticed. He doesn't like to take big pieces of fish or whole fish. Especially when he's feeling moody, he can spit them out, even if he takes them into his mouth first. I hand feed him. What I do is I stomp, and he comes over, just like that, and I just hand it to him. Yeah, he's hungry. I hand it to him right there, and if it's something too big, or if he's not hungry enough, he'll still come over. He either doesn't take it or takes it and spits it out. Yeah, you do look hungry. I probably need to get you something today before you eat somebody. Sometimes he mouths his tank mates. I've noticed he's done it to koi several times and to giant Siamese carp. I know this because the only size mouth that could do that is his. He usually takes the head and the mouth, a little past the head, between the head and the dorsal fin. That's where I see the marks. And then he spits them out. He doesn't eat them. But of course they squirm and everything and try to get away. And that leaves a round perimeter of cuts and abrasions on their skin and the scales. Sorapima is bombing the video. Sometimes I do have an idea why he's fasting, especially when the weather changes or when the weather is real hot. He doesn't seem to have much appetite during the hottest times of the year, when the temperature of this exhibit is between 80, 82, sometimes even 84. His appetite seems to be diminished then. Mr. Wels is albino from a farm, of course. That's why he's albino, I should say. Because it's a farm-raised fish. We got it from Wesley Wong in August 2016. In October 2016, a federal ban was passed, so we just barely had enough time to get them legally. From now on, they cannot be imported into the United States without a special license. I think I consider him to be the alpha of his tank. Nobody ever bothers him, but he sometimes can put fish back in line. There is a cousin of his in there, the Phalacronotus lyrii, or the helicopter catfish. He's right there. I don't think you'll be able to see him well. It's a black fish on black liner, but you can see they're very similar build. They both belong to the same family of Sailfinidae. I don't notice any interaction between the lyrii and Mr. Wels. So there is no aggression from the bigger Mr. Wels towards the smaller Phalacronotus. I think when I first introduced lyrii in here, probably about 2-3 years ago, it spotted a good size bite right on its snout. But ever since then, I didn't see any damage. Funny thing is both clown knives and sometimes other fish use Mr. Wels for structure or for furniture. They hide behind him or around him, especially when he lays under the waterfall over there in the corner. That's his favorite spot. His second favorite spot is behind the pipes on the other end. But I have it in some video. There is a vulture catfish as well as the clown knife fish. They use him as a live furniture to hide behind him or under him. This bite is pretty powerful. About a year ago or so, I tried to chase him out of that corner when we had visitors over, and I decided that I may be able to bring him closer to the visitors and he came out of his corner, and I was standing in his corner. He came out and wanted to go back, and I wouldn't let him because I stood in his way, and he bit me. Deservingly. That hurt. Not so much the bite. The bite, I mean, I didn't even have time to realize what happened. It was lightning quick. But there was 100 little scratches and left by his sandpaper teeth on my foot. Some of them were rather deep. Not cutting the flesh, but definitely cutting through all the layers of skin. Once in a while when I'm stomping on the ground and everybody comes over, because this is the feeding call, dinner bell, and Wels is real hungry, he comes over, and even before I hand him something, he starts snapping, especially the koi that are bunched up here as well, waiting for me to feed them, knocking out a bunch of scales. So that also has been observed and can happen. He's of course an instant attraction by everybody who comes over and sees him. They want to know more about him and his details, which is nice. The best spot is under the waterfall. I think it's because of the high oxygen concentration, and it's a corner. It's more or less secure, and it's also covered from above by the waterfall ledge. So maybe this is a coveted spot. And Mr. Wels, being the alpha, he occupies it, of course. As you can see, the knife fish don't even get out of his way, so he doesn't really bother them. I never see any bite marks on them from him, so either he likes it or he's completely oblivious to their presence, because they often crowd him, hang around him all the time in that corner, as I said. Sometimes when I look from above, he looks over 5 feet for sure. But I can't prove it until I put a tape measure on him. He really slowed down growing in the past couple of years. I think we put him here about 3.5 or 4 years ago, when he was 3 feet. So in about a year and a half, 2, he reached 5 feet, or maybe a little shy of 5, and then from that he's been growing real slow. Sometimes he goes for a month or 2 without eating, or eating very little. People are usually surprised by his body shape, that he's like half eel or half dragon and half fish. His movements are very graceful, and he glides through the water like a kind of like a dragon, yeah. It's definitely our biggest fish by length. Not sure if by weight. By weight, the big paroon shark is about 4 feet, maybe heavier, because paroons are built like tanks. And Wels is built, as I said, more like a dragon, or a eel, or a snake, regarding their posterior 2/3 or 3/4. They do have a huge head and a huge mouth and a big stomach up front. Interestingly also, I should probably just remember that sometimes we have an outbreak of anchorworms or fish lice or some other external parasite. I've never seen Mr. Wels being bothered by it, while his tank mates like koi and others, giraffe, catfish, they're obviously bothered by these parasites, but the beluga sturgeon and the Wels catfish almost never. Yep. I don't know if you caught it, that giraffe went too far, turned around swiftly. They're never bothered by those maladies, which is interesting. So as I said, he's 8 years old, call him 5 feet. If we're lucky and we're still around and he's still around in 20-30 years, he might reach maybe 8 feet. Their ultimate records of 15-16 feet are debated and disputed even in the scientific literature.